We are at the fourth step of Saturn, the second square of Saturn to its place, age 21 to 28. And that's the moment when we are making a transition from family, being protected, being in an environment when theoretically everything depends on somebody else, when it comes to paying your dues to the outside world. Now the child, which is now grown up, has to decide whether it will take responsibility personally for a little bit later in life being able to participate with something. Here mostly I'm talking about its work, profession, or dedication to something. It doesn't need to be decided in this age. It is definitely very early now to decide on a proper personal dedication. That's one of the main problems and mistakes that we all make, culturally being conditioned in many countries to do that, to expect of ourselves to be making very important life-changing decisions about dedicating yourself to a person if you decide to marry, or to a job or profession if you decide to just take a career path or something like that, in this age, when actually this is still an age of experimentation and testing. But even though that's the case, we make one more step towards taking greater responsibility. This is when we come of age legally, and we are now expected to pay for our actions, or just take into account what we're doing, how it's affecting other people and society. We are now bound by the social norms, and there is no way to escape from that. Starting to act like an adult, slowly but surely. And here we're dealing with two different squares. That age has a square of Saturn from the second kind, but another square from Uranus of the first kind. So what is going on here? There is a new freedom that is being given to everybody. The freedom to choose your associations, your friends, your school, whether or not you're actually going to participate in further education or whatever else, whether you're going to start walking the way of one of those already offered to you paths, and in this way cooperate with the world, with your country, with your family, with everybody, and say, okay, fine, I'm going to educate myself the way you are offering me, two different options of higher education, whatever else, or I'm going to learn certain skills in order to be adequate and then a good enough participant in the common life. I'm going to sacrifice some of my pleasure or my freedom, the second square of Saturn, in order to integrate even more and more and more. So we are paying for freedom with some new imposed restrictions and some new responsibility. The waxing square of Uranus is a moment when we seriously have the chance, and this is an opportunity, to break away from the habits of our childhood. This is where childhood as a way of life, not as a mental psychological adjustment, but just as a way of life, is meant to end. When we are meant to make some initial steps to make our own means, to take care of ourselves personally, to go away from home maybe. This is the time when many people leave the family environment and even their countries, and especially nowadays. So this is the leap of freedom that puts us in a situation of choosing between parents and peers. Since the previous age, we were already more involved with people our age that we wanted to associate with, and they were the greatest influence, more than parents. But that's not universal. Some people can't make that transition. They carry the dependencies through over the course of the next ages. And here the most important transition that has to be made at this age is to sever the ties with peers which are related to what we think about the world, what we identify with, what are our own tastes, desires, choices, and so on and so forth. They don't have to be so much defined now by the approval or disapproval of our peers. We need to take a stand for the first time and at least try to notice what we personally are interested in and have the courage to go in that direction and explore it. Yeah, it doesn't happen with everyone, but this is really the lesson here. The second return of Jupiter at 24, that falls under this period, gives you the opportunity to identify with things out there in the world, which is the Jupiterian moment, that you choose. And the choice is really important. Many people think they're making a choice here, but instead they are running away from something. It is very dangerous in this age, and maybe towards the end of the previous as well, to get into things like early marriage or career, which is or education, which is just for the sake of going away and making a gesture of separation, while actually you haven't properly matured to choose yet, and the options have to be left open, while at the same time we muster the courage to not be scared by the world and to stand alone in the world, constantly looking back and constantly wanting to be sheltered back by mother, father, or any other situation, especially if we had involved ourselves too much with groups of friends. Now is the time from 21 to 28 to gradually distinguish between your path and other people's path and not just copy and paste what everybody else is doing.